today we have Todd Cooker. He's an insurance expert, does a great job for a lot of our clients to obtain homeowner insurance in this interesting market that we're having. And today we're going to talk about what we can do from the seller's perspective to help our buyers buy our sellers' properties and have less fallout.
Sure.
So, Todd, what we've been experiencing is we get into contract with a buyer, we've spent all this time getting the price right, the terms right, the inspections done, and all of a sudden the buyer says, oh no, I can't get insurance on the property. What are some things that we can do? What are some things that a seller can do to make sure that it's set up for the buyer?
Sure, that's a great question, and definitely an aggravating situation that some of the people can find themselves in, both the seller, the agent, everybody involved. But what I would recommend doing is, as early on in the process as possible, having the buyer reach out to someone who they respect as an insurance agent to get some indications or some pre-approvals or pricing on insurance, so that's not an issue at the very end. For years, that was always the last part of the deal. It was negotiation, accept an offer, it was getting your mortgage all set up, and the very last thing was, oh, by the way, go purchase insurance. But because of the market that we're in right now, like you said, it's something that could cause potentially people to fall out of a deal or not be comfortable purchasing a property or something like that. So the best way to respect everyone's time, whether that's the buyer, the seller, the agents, anyone's time, is to just figure it out in the beginning. So as soon as they're comfortable, they're making that offer, they're accepting the offer, whenever they're comfortable, reach out as early as possible. Because it might take a couple of days to get a quote back, 2-3 days or something like that. But at least at that point, they'll have all the information to make a good informed decision. So they'll either, hopefully they're still not pulling out of the deal, but if they are, it's, again, respecting everyone's time and figuring that out as early on in the process as possible. So not waiting.
And my second question is, how does, when a seller files a claim, how does that affect the next buyer when they purchase that property?
That's a great question. Homeowners insurance works similarly to auto insurance. More people might be familiar with that, where when a claim is filed, there's sort of a centralized database. So you might be a farmer's homeowners insurance holder and filing a claim. That's going to be recorded on you as the person filing the claim, as well as the property. So in some instances, obviously, if it's a very large claim, if the house catches fire and it's a $150,000 claim, that's something you're filing a claim for, every day of the week. But it's really the smaller items that could potentially be done out of pocket. The example I give a lot is water heaters at the end of their life will burst and usually flood the garage. They're usually located in the garage. When they burst, it's not a huge amount of water, but it is a decent amount of water. Usually the cleanup for that's $3,000, something around there. So if your deductible is $2,500 and you were only set to get $500 back, it's a really good example of something you'll want to talk to your insurance agent about before you just go ahead and do it. And that way, again, you'll make the decision. Ultimately, the policyholder will make the decision, but you want to be claims free, or you don't want to have a lot of activity if you can avoid it. Again, the big things, that's why people buy insurance. You're buying it for the big items. But that definitely is something that is looked at, because even though it's not the new buyer's loss, they didn't file the claim, the property still had the loss. So it is still a rating factor, because they're saying, okay, well, this property might be prone to water losses or thefts or something along those lines.
Got it. Great. Okay. Anything else you want to add to help our sellers with the insurance issue?
The only question or situation that I see sellers run into sometimes is in these areas, if they've owned for a very long time, they might have a grandfathered insurance policy. So it might be something where they purchased it from a State Farm agent 15 years ago, and State Farm has honored that contract and never gotten off of it. So they might be paying a great, like a sweetheart rate, I guess you could say, of $800 or $900 or something like that, which unfortunately maybe today is just not possible. If they called State Farm, they wouldn't even write it today in most cases. But I sometimes have heard that the seller will share that information or give that to the new buyer. And again, it's not setting a really good expectation, and that's they're coming up at the end of the deal where it's like, hey, you told me I could get it for maybe this amount, and really it's 2 or 3 times that. Or in many cases, it's the way it's brought up. A lot of these buyers have already made a decision that they've fallen in love with the community. They want to buy up there. They want to own a secondary or a vacation rental or something like that. It really is just bring these things up in, a positive, realistic manner and explaining everything up front. So sometimes leaving out those details of what you've always paid, because insurance, unfortunately, is not transferable. It's just something that can be easily transferred.
Got it. Now, in your industry, do you see more carriers coming to our area?
I definitely do. I would say it's sort of cyclical. And right now, we're somewhere in the market and fire season is just about to start all over the state. And so hopefully it's a really good fire season for everyone from a safety standpoint, but also that would help out a lot. What we've seen is the last 2 years have just been catastrophic. And when that happens, things get really tight. And so that's what we're experiencing right now is just a tighter market. But like anything, it doesn't stay like that forever. There's bull and bear markets. And so eventually the insurance companies, these are fantastic homes that are well looked after, in many cases, better looked after than primary home. And so they're definitely going to come back. And so again, it's just having someone who has the expertise and the access in these areas. So when these companies start to come back into the market, they have 1 or 2 really profitable fire seasons because fires are, mitigated or not so catastrophic, and they can make some money. A lot of times there's going to be a race to the market.
Right.
Bless you.
Right.
And, when they do that, again, there'll be a lot of carriers, this is good business, and they'll want to come back into these areas. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. It's just kind of figuring that out.
Great. Good. Well, Todd, how would one of our sellers get a hold of you?
They can contact our office directly. I'm happy to answer questions from agents, individuals, potential buyers, anyone who has questions. My office phone number is 858-386-4443, or they can reach out to my email directly if that's a better method for them, which is Todd, Todd, @packinsure.com.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Sure, Christy. Thank you.